All right, before we begin, can we just check all the judges are back? Our very important people, all the judges are back? All good? All seated? All working? Very nice. So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We'll now proceed into the much anticipated pitching session. Now today, we're joined by 9 deep tech startups from around the region who will be showcasing their innovative ideas and cutting-edge technologies. Now, amongst them, 3 will be selected to receive the grant support of up to 280,000 from NAMIC to support their ventures. The first prize winner will also be fast-tracked to this year's Slingshot as one of the top 50 finalists. Supporting us in the evaluation today, allow me to introduce our panel of judges, Mr. Julian Malahe, operating partner at Rurazu, Mr. John Sharp, co-founder and managing partner at Hatchet Plus, Mr. Derek Neal, deputy GM of Seeds Capital at Enterprise SG, Mr. C.K. Tan, managing partner at Green Willow Capital Management, Mr. Shen Li, executive director at Shen & Co. Private Limited, Mr. Kwek Kai Hu, chief investment officer, A-Star Innovation and Enterprise, Mr. Tu Wee Ming, head of investment at Linear Hill Capital, and last but not least, Dr. Ho Chao Sing, CEO of NAMIC. Please give them a round of applause. All right, and now to our startups, I'll explain to you the rules of the pitching. Participants, you will be given a total of 10 minutes for this segment, 5 minutes for presentation, and 5 minutes for Q&A. At the 4th minute of your presentation, we'll signal with a 1-minute board. Startups, can you just turn behind to take a look? Yes, over there, to remind you of the time that you have left. So please wrap up your presentation by then. And when the time is up, we will also show a time's up board as such to indicate the time is up for your presentation, which will move into the Q&A session next. Similarly, we'll signal 1 minute left and also time's up at the 4th and the final minute, so please take note. If you don't remember anything I said, when I say stop, you stop, all right? With that, I wish everyone the very best, and let's begin. Now, first in the lineup, we have Snap Robotics. Incubated in 2021, Snap Robotics is a robotics solution company that specializes in a versatile multimodal soft gripper for cobots. With 3 form factors that can be interchanged seamlessly, Snap Robotics aims to change the ballgame of assembly and packaging tasks. And introducing us to their product, let us put our hands together for co-founder and CEO, Sai Krishna Dantu.
Hi everyone, my name is Sai Krishna. So I'll start. Industries are rapidly moving towards automation due to an acute shortage of unskilled labor, which is a result of aging population. Moreover, the working conditions they are poor for the workers, which is adversely affecting their well-being. Most of the automation solutions out there, they consist of rigid grippers, which are not versatile. Each task requires a specific gripper, which makes it impossible for the SMEs to afford these solutions. A dream solution that could solve all these issues would require extreme versatility and multimodality. And by multimodality, I mean the ability to change the grasping mode depending on the task without using a tool changer so that it is affordable for the SMEs to implement it. Moreover, this versatile dream solution must also be durable, so that just a one-time setup is enough to implement it for long term. Ladies and gentlemen, please brace yourself for a dream come true moment. Snap Robotics has developed the most affordable artificial hand that can completely transform the landscape of grasping automation. Here, in the image, there are no multiple grippers. It is basically the same gripper that can change the grasping modes within a second. The gripper is extremely versatile, and it is similar to human hands. The gripper is easily washable, can sustain hot and cold temperatures, and even can handle delicate items like an eggshell without crushing it. The gripper is the gripper is based on vacuum actuation, unlike the other soft grippers, which makes it more durable. Here's a glimpse of the various items that the multimodal soft gripper can handle. The power grasping mode is suitable for the items that are within the gripper aperture, whereas the wide grasping mode is for bigger items. Precision grasping is for thin and flat items, whereas the scooping mode is for granular items. This multimodality makes it the gripper with the most diverse grasping capabilities compared to any other gripper in the world. The multimodal soft gripper outperforms its competitors based on all the dream features. Even though the other soft grippers are versatile and affordable to some extent, multimodality and durability makes the Snap Robotics soft gripper stand out. We are even considering IP strengthening elements by inculcating very advanced fabrication techniques to tailor the features of our soft gripper. These are some of the patented fabrication techniques that we have developed in the lab to protect the IP of the patented gripper technology as well, such as liquid in liquid 3D printing, automated fiber embedding. All these techniques comes to our rescue when we want to embed sensors into our gripper for slip and force feedback so that it becomes extremely difficult for anyone to reverse engineer our gripper. We are focusing on food packaging as our beachhead market, for which we will be offering our automation solution to the food SMEs based on a subscription model to double their labor productivity gains. The solution would consist of a soft gripper combined with a robotic arm assisted with a computer vision system to automate all the unskilled repetitive tasks. We could also sell the gripper directly to the dark kitchen automation companies, providing them with an equipment cost saving of up to 25% by removing the need for any customized dispensers and also tool changers. We are focusing on food packaging as our beachhead market because it is a relatively untapped industry where we have the competitive edge of multimodality. However, our solution also has an impact in other industries like waste segregation to reduce the exposure of workers to harmful biohazards, and also in high-mix packaging where versatility is crucial. We have also gained interest in urban farming segment to handle the delicate items. Let me assure you, our solution is not a substitute for workers. Rather, it is to complement their intellectual skills, which can be put to better use in other roles such as customer-facing roles or robotic technician roles. We have already obtained 2 POC grants to further develop our product and conduct various pilot tests, which will help us obtain a customer-ready product soon. We have a very competent team of researchers who have developed the multimodal soft gripper since its ideation. We are the best team to execute this venture with its perfect mix of industry, design thinking, research, and business backgrounds. I would conclude by showing you a snippet of the various awards that we have won in the previous competitions, which is a testament to the capabilities of our technology. Thank you for being a wonderful audience.
Perfect. Your time is just up, and now we'll be opening up for questions to the panel of judges. So for each 3 judges, we will have given you a mic.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Could you share a little bit about the competition landscape? Because soft grip robotics is not new. Many people are already doing that.
What is the question exactly? Like, what are the features that we are comparing, is it?
No, talk a little bit more about the competition landscape. I think, for example, like Japanese Bridgestone, they're doing very well. In fact, later on, there's another friendly competitors. I think also talking about soft grip robotics.
Sure.
Yeah.
So the thing is, most of the soft grippers that are, I would say 90% of the soft grippers that are existing in the market, they have been derived from a similar design called NewNets, which was developed by Harvard in 2005. Our gripper is quite different in the design in that way, in 2 ways. One is we use vacuum actuation, which is much more safer and much more durable, like I mentioned earlier. And the second thing is our gripper is multimodal. So the thing is, it can do very complex tasks like picking up a needle from the table or even scooping that no other gripper in the world can do. And the USP that our gripper holds is that we are completely eliminating the need for any tool changer. So that is the whole USP that we have.
I just want to add on that in your slide, you show that your first paying customer is only in 2025, right? Your first paying customer.
Yeah.
I think just be mindful that the market look for first solution, not the best solution. The best solution will keep adjust along the way. So do be mindful of that.
So, the thing is we want to try out as many pilot tests as possible. Like I mentioned, the solution that we have developed is basically artificial human hand. So whatever a human being can do, that is like a potential market for us. So we want to test out as many pilot tests as possible. And actually, one of the keynote speaker mentioned, right, we should try out and depend on the grants as much as possible. And that is what we are doing. We have already obtained 2 POC grants, and we have obtained some pilot tests which are in the pipeline. Hopefully, if 1 or 2 pilot tests turns out to be a lucrative assignment, we won't hesitate to incorporate and sell it as a product.
Yeah, very good. Quickly figure out what is your domains, vertical that you want to focus on, right?
Yeah. So we have already conducted more than 100 interviews in various market segments. Food packaging seems like the most attractive solution for us because there is no automation solution which is as versatile and suitable for food industry as such than us. And also material-wise, we are using commercially available silicones, which are already food safe. So in that way, we believe that food packaging could be a very attractive market for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more questions from the judges?
So we have patented the technology, but we are still looking for partners who can support us from automation point of view, because the main IP that we have is the gripper itself, right? So we are open to license it to other manipulator companies. However, like I mentioned, we are working on making the IP very strong so that no one else can reverse engineer back. So we would prefer to keep the IP to ourselves and only become the specialists in fabricating the gripper. So yeah, business model wise, we can directly either sell the grippers or we can sell the entire automation solution where all the operations are done manually. These are the 2 models that we are currently having in mind. Thank you.
Thank you, John, for the question. We have time for one last question from the judges. If there are none, let's give Secretary another round of applause.
Thank you.
So next up, we'll be having IoTech. Now, IoTech has been established since early 2016 and has been developing a multi-material additive manufacturing technology that can process almost any industry-certified material at high resolution and speed. Now, aim to enable the production of currently unavailable designs and create an eco-friendly alternative to traditional manufacturing methods. Let's welcome Herv Jarvis, co-founder and CEO, to tell us how they will go about doing that.
Hello, good afternoon. I would like to start with a short film about IoTech.
Every day, innovative electronic designs enable new product functionalities. Cars are becoming autonomous. Cell phones keep on becoming lighter, thinner, and more powerful. But traditional production tools are now reaching their limits. Cutting-edge electronics call for cutting-edge manufacturing technologies. Introducing IoTech's LAD, a breakthrough additive manufacturing technology for electronics, from semiconductor to PCB. LAD prints all materials in 3 integrated steps: coating, jetting, and post-processing. First, coating on a foil in a perfectly smooth and fine microlayer. Second, laser jetting, fast with micron accuracy. Third, post-processing, laser sintering, UV curing, or heating. Conductive and laminate layers are coated, jetted, and sintered or cured. Vias are filled. LAD jets standard industrial materials with 3,000 times higher viscosity than inkjet without any risk of clogging.
And this is, in short, to help you visualize what we're doing. So last year, we had our first 2 deliveries to our strategic partners. That's ASMPT, which is headquartered in Singapore, and Henkel in Santa Clara. Now, we have, you'll recognize most of these names here. These are prospects, these are people who are trying our product. And they are basically all telling us that they see a need for a machine and that it will help them on their technological roadmap. 5 of these companies have actually sent us purchase orders. In short, IoTech, we have 54 patents which have been filed. 31 patents have already been granted. We have raised 19 million. We have also backing of the Israeli Innovation Authority. We got the award of Productronica 2021, of LOPEC 2022. We have delivered 2 machines, and we're planning to deliver 4 machines this year. So why so much enthusiasm about what we're doing? And let me give you a few examples of what gives you to get one of our machines. And those present today will get 2% discount, just joking. So if you are, for instance, doing microphones or loudspeakers for mobile phones, you can hope to get 50% size reduction. If you are TSMC, you could use our product and get 10% more dies, 10% more chips per wafer. If you are Intel, you could get 30% gain in speed in transfer between the chip and the memory. And if you are Apple or Samsung, you could move your smartwatches towards 4K display. Also critical is the fact that if you are a semiconductor person trying to do packaging, then you will be able to replace your subtracting highly polluting technologies by one of our systems. Now, the addressable market is obviously key. We have done a research together with Prismark, and we've identified 5 applications where we have critical competitive advantage. These 5 packaging and assembly solutions have a market value of about $480 million. So what is our pricing model? We are pricing for productivity. So our basic machine costs $600,000, and if you want to have 100 times the productivity, then the machine costs $3 million. So we have an automatic margin expansion, if you want, so we can grow revenue as people move from process development to production. We are targeting break-even in 2025 and targeting an EBITDA of 66 million within 5 years. We're looking for 6 million to complement the 4 million we raised in June, and this should take us to break even. Now, you know very well that there are global trends which are about electronics miniaturization, which are about sustainability, e-mobility, and we have a product, we have the application that goes with it. And your time is
up. Sorry to interrupt.
We have what it takes to basically rise on these global trends.
Thank you. And we'll now open for questions from the judges.
Hi, I think it's a very remarkable venture. Now, what you're trying to solve in this whole industry is I think, is going to have a lot of upside. But my question to you is that while you're raising so little money, right, how are you going to catch up the go-to-market and with the technology know-how that you have? Is this a long sales cycle for you to convince all these big boys to somehow displace, if not substitute some of your existing equipment to use yours?
So you're saying different things, and this is it's an excellent question. Why are we raising so little money? And I think part of the answer is what Julien described as the winter in financial markets. So we had to adjust. We would have liked to raise more. This is how to get to break even by keeping the same cost base. It's not optimal, but That's what we have right now. We're raising 10 million, 4 million already raised, another 6 million. There is complete enthusiasm from the buyers, from the potential customers. It only takes 12 to 24 months to do the work on the application, to do the groundwork. So there is no issue of customer acquisition, but it is true that if we would raise more money, would go faster. We are protected by the fact that we have right now the only game in town. We have a monopoly in the capabilities, but it would be probably better to raise a bit more. Was that your question, or?
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Herb, for that presentation. Can you just give us a sense of the competitor landscape that you're against?
The competitive landscape is actually reasonably simple. One is the current technology, which are additive, which are screen printing and all the dispensing. Versus screen printing, we provide flexibility, which is required but not available, like multi-layers and multi-size and so on. Versus the dispensers, we're so much faster and higher resolution that it's a clear advantage. Versus the subtractive, which are currently important in packaging, it's completely different. We have no benefit. We don't bring anything new, except that they pollute the environment, they cannot be reshored, and we offer the reshorable alternative. By the way, this is why ASMPT has invested in us, although they're a competitor, but they realize that we are the future of their industry.
I have a question. This is a high capex business. So in your business model, have you considered getting some recurring revenue?
Oh yes, definitely. I think it's a critical. My background is in finance from the earlier days, so this is the first thing I was concentrating on. Most people do recurring revenue by offering materials, but it's the wrong approach because we need to give Apple and Intel and the others free choice of material. So what we do is for software upgrades, it's for maintenance, warranty, for application support, ask for 12 to 15% recurring revenue.
So other than the one-time sales of the machines, are there other model like leasing or whatever model that you consider?
So yes, so the leasing will come for future. Right now, from speaking to many customers, as soon as they go into a country, they get major subsidies from countries, so they want to pay cash upfront. Intel and the others want to pay cash. But in the future, when we look at the PCB market, which will be sometime ahead, then we'll look at leasing and pay-per-use and so on.
One last question from me. So your user, do they need to do major modification to their internal process, or they can just use the machine as it is?
So they will develop a process to integrate it, but there is no change in the material, and that's critical. And otherwise, we just take the space of another machine, so they don't need to change their process. So that will make the acceptance so much easier.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think our time is up as well. Thank you, Herb. Can we give him a round of applause? And following this, we would like to invite RoPlus. Incorporated in 2021, RoPlus aims to help local companies automate their production lines for more innovative and faster production processes by providing automated gripping solutions with computer visioning. Introducing us to their one-stop intelligent soft gripping solution, please join me in welcoming Chief Innovation Officer Benjamin Ang.
Thank you very much. My name is Benjamin, and I'm from RoPlus. I'm the Chief Innovation Officer. And here at RoPlus, we are in the business of automating, or rather have the aim to automate your favorite product's production line. So everybody talks about automation these days, but not everyone does it. But there are very good reasons why. So for one, by 2030, there will be a global aging population, which means that the overall workforce, the age of the overall workforce will be gradually increasing. And by 2050, it is expected that the global population will also be living in highly urbanized areas, which means that by then, the food production will have to increase by at least 60% in order to meet the food demands. Our target market is in the APAC region, first and foremost, because it has a pretty sizable volume of $1.4 billion. And as more industries embrace automation, the CAGR is expected to increase by at least 61.4%. So what makes us special? What's our secret sauce? Our secret sauce is in two areas, one in hardware and one in software. For hardware, we have highly customizable 3D printed soft fingers, like the one I'm holding here. It is fully customizable because every single portion of this is modular and is able to fit any or all of their production lines. The other aspect is in software, where we have a custom vision solution and is able to adapt the soft gripper that you can see in this picture to fit any size and dimension of the product that is grasping. So what it allows is to reconfigure itself in order to fit any production line. But on the other hand, as opposed to our gripper, our competitors have very fixed production lines and very fixed products. So what this means is that they have fixed gripper bases and has high-cost POC. And in turn, in one production line where there's multiple SKUs, it's very difficult for them to fit their product into the production line. We know very well because our customers have indeed come to us with these problems. One is in a fryer station, and number two is in pouch picking, and number three is in consumer goods packing. Through these examples, we have managed to save them multiple operators per packing line. But it's hard for me to describe fully what our team is actually doing in terms of soft gripping, so I'll show you a short video. So we have several revenue streams that we have set up. Number one is a one-time upfront purchase of our products, whether it's the entire gripper or the robot arm or the vision package solution. The other one is the leasing model, where our customers are able to loan one or more of our individual components. And number three is consumables, where we are offering to replace or to add on a new generation of fingers to the cobot that they have. And lastly is the software and hardware maintenance, where it's supposedly and most importantly our recurring revenue in the future. We have two main sales channels. Number one is through distributors, where we sell our individual components, whether is it the robotic arm itself, whether is it the control system needed to power the gripper, and also definitely the gripper itself. And for the entire package, we are going through SIs to reach our clients. I'm proud to say that within 2 years of our inception, we are in talks with more than 20 different clients to do their POCs and signed contracts with 9 and have successfully delivered a few of these POCs. We have established partnerships with robotic arm providers, the conveyor belt systems, as well as different SIs, and collaborated with top-tier research institutes in order to bring our products up to the next level at the industrial grade level, and also secured a distributorship in 6 different countries, and in talks with some in Japan and Taiwan for more. By 2026, we hope to have a positive cumulative net cash flow of about 2 million as we establish our systems more positively and more clearly. And our current ask and plan is for $1.5 million, which we put immediately towards team and market expansion in the nearby region, especially in Malaysia, Thailand, and Indonesia. More importantly, we are also looking to set up and to develop our own proprietary AI system, where it's going to go beyond just a simple vision solution. And also, finally, of course, in the later stages, we are also developing a comprehensive integrated mobile manipulation platform.
And your time is up. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And now we're open for questions for the judges.
Can I just ask, your technology, is it developed in-house or with one of the institutions in Singapore?
It's designed in-house. Our team is basically a spin-off from NUS. Yep, so our technology's IPs is developed in-house.
Your IP, the proprietariness of your IP, is it more on the software or on the hardware, the gripper materials and all that?
Right now, primarily it's in hardware. but we are looking, as I mentioned before, we are looking to expand into the AI platform because we have certain requests from our clients in order to move into that area.
It looks like you've got about $500,000 projected for 2023. Where are you on that, and what patents do you hold on this that are issued?
We have 2 patents in terms of the hardware design and as well as hardware operation portion. And for our revenue, we do have revenues from our purchase orders from our clients. So that's our primary source of revenue.
So you are already on track to make that 2023 number?
Yes.
Thank you, John, for the question. Are there any other questions from the judges?
Just curious about the IP differentiation, right? How do you see yourself differentiated against other like soft, robotic gripper type of company?
In terms of the hardware, I have to say, as also mentioned by our friendly competitor here, that it's rather easy to reverse engineer. And our strategy is instead of protecting that one IP, we wish to discover more and to expand horizontally as well as upstream and downstream, because that's where we differentiate ourselves, especially when our strong suit is in customizability, which means that we are able to quickly adapt our design to what our customer needs.
And another follow-up question is on the market, right? So in terms of traction, where are you seeing within the Asia-Pac market? Is it China or Southeast Asia or North Asia?
It's actually a mix. Mostly it's in food manufacturing in terms of our everyday household goods like noodles, rice, packets, sugar, and things like that. So in terms of where they originate from, there's a range like Vietnam, Thailand. Yeah.
Thank you for the question. Are there any other questions from the judges?
What's your pre-money on your 1.5 million raise?
Sorry?
What is your pre-money? What is your valuation for your 1.5 million?
I believe it's at $3 million. $3 million.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, if there are no other questions, let's give a round of applause for Benjamin. Thank you. And next up, we would like to invite Craft Health, a spin-off company from the National University of Singapore. Craft Health is a 3D printing company that focuses on creating pharmaceuticals and nutraceuticals. As a personalized nutrition and medicines, they leverage on 3D printing technologies to simplify the process of pill taking for patients and consumers. To share with us a bit more on what they do, let us welcome co-founder and CEO, Guo Weijiang.
Thank you. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Wei Jiang, and I'm from Craft Health, where we are all about simplifying drug delivery. So a quick highlight is about Craft Health. We are a revenue-generating company since last year, and we have integrated our platform to have the hardware, the software, as well as the formulation to do a heat-free technique of 3D printing pharmaceuticals as well as nutraceuticals. And we are the first in Singapore and South Asia to do so, and still remains the only company to do so. This puts us in a very good position to be a market leader in this arena. So, what is our technology? It really consists of 4 key elements. The first is the hardware. We have our own line of 3D printers that we call CraftMake, and we do not use any heat or UV curing to do our 3D printing process, so we do not degrade the active ingredients. The second is the software. We have our own software basis to integrate with our hardware solutions, as well as an audited trail for GMP compliance. The third, think of it as a secret sauce. We call it craft blends. These are our various formulations or recipes that we 3D print out. So these are different pills or formulations that cater to different medicines or supplements. And we collect all these data points, the hardware, the software, the formulation data points into a database. So the more we 3D print, the better we understand the interplay between these elements, and the faster we are able to accelerate our formulation process. Now, this is our 3D printer CraftMake, one of the world's first that is specializing in the 3D printing of medicines and supplements. And this is how we do it. In room temperature, without any heating, without any UV curing. And in terms of what we can do with this technology, we have our first vertical, automated compounding solutions. But first, what is compounding? Compounding is actually the process of combining, mixing, or altering different ingredients to create a very individualized medicine or combination product for an individual. In other words, it's a customized product. And this is a huge market worldwide. It's a 25 billion USD market, one that is still very actively growing. And to that extent, there is still inefficiencies that remain in the system. Currently, if you go to a compounding pharmacy, it is done by human labor. It's expensive because it's skilled labor. It's inconsistent because it's a human operator doing it in a small batch process. And the output is limited because this labor, they don't work the whole day. We directly address these concerns. Our automatic solutions is able to 3D print non-stop, increasing output. We can have one operator manning several printers. This means we can reduce costs, and we directly impact their margins positively. So this is a slide that shows the variety of different pills, tablets, even gummies that we can print, different colors, different shapes, different tastes, different release profiles, all done without any heat. Now, previously I mentioned about controlled release. So what is this controlled release profile? We have a 2, 3, and 4 layer 3D printed tablet that we have immersed in an acidic environment, just like in our stomach. And you can see here that the different layers, they break apart at different rates, meaning the different medicines or the actives, they are released at different timings. You can have a quick release, a slow release, before after food combinations, all done in just one pill. Now, how do we monetize this? Our typical sales model is that we help the client to do a formulation, a 3D printable formulation, which we charge. We then sell them the printers, and each time they print, we have a licensing agreement for them to collect 1 to 3% of sales in terms of recurring income. And we already have sales. So last year to this year, we are up. We already done 130K Sing dollars to date, and we are on track to do about $250,000 end of this year. We have clients from the Australian market, UK, as well as Indonesia. This is the team that's made it possible. And we are now looking to raise $1 million for our pre-series A2, and we already have 300,000 committed. The idea is to do a bridge round before our A round next year, and these are our existing investors. This is some media features that we're very fortunate to get, and that's the end of my presentation. Thank you.
I'm very on time. Let us open for questions from the judges.
I think there's quite a number of this 3D printing for pharmaceutical as well. Maybe not in Southeast Asia, but we have seen this, especially in Europe. So I think to scale up this business, my opinion is the supply chain. So how are you going to look at the whole supply chain while you have this interesting toy that you can bring the value to the customer?
Yep, that's a great question, right? We may be the only one in South Asia, but there are competitors globally. There's big players in the US, in China, in Europe. And one of the key considerations to be looking is how can we successfully monetize this technology. Compounding is a very viable way because they already have existing customers. They already have their existing supply chains in terms of the materials and active ingredients. What we do is to help them to automate the process. So in a sense, we don't have that supply chain issue on our hand, but we do have some supply in terms of the non-active ingredients. But that is common across all the different formulations we can buy in bulk.
Are you aiming on the high-value pharmaceutical product?
Yeah, that's another good question. Because of time constraints, we cannot show the full extent of what we hope to do. So for Craft Health, basically, we have 2 verticals. This is what we call the cash flow vertical. Our first vertical is what we call the moonshot vertical. It's where we use our 3D printing technology to 3D print specifically tablets that target the large intestine. It's a site that is often neglected. a lot of medicines for oral pills. They target the stomach, the small intestines, but not so much the large intestines. We are actually building actively a pipeline of different therapeutics, including probiotics and biologics that we included in our no-heat platform. So that's where we are looking to scale as well.
Thank you for the answer.
Thanks for the clear presentation. Can you share more about the size of the compounding pharmacy market?
So currently, the global 25B is across all the different dosage forms. It includes things like oral and injectables and creams. Roughly about 1/5 of that is for solid, so things that you can consume in the mouth. We see big players in Australia, in Europe, and the biggest is, of course, in the States. The compounding scene is very different from Singapore, where we have some mom and pop stops. Then they do perhaps addressing for maybe 5 to 10 customers each time. In those countries, they have mid or large tier compounding facilities that deals with thousands of clients, and they're all very niche in the sense that you maybe have a particular medicine that is targeted at a very targeted audience that big pharma do not find lucrative enough to answer. But in terms of a long tail, there's a lot of this niche for them to still make money. And because it's a premium product, right, you are looking at a very, what I call it, customized form. They actually charge a premium to it. The customer is also willing to pay for it.
Thank you.
So how big is your formulation database?
So currently, our formulation, we have more than 200 data points. This is still considered small, right? Because if you look at the different medicines, small molecules, and you scoop it out in the different physical chemical properties, it is perhaps still small. The idea for us is to continue to do, and in this case, because we have clients that are effectively paying us to expand the database. The future idea is also to monetize this database. The idea is that with more data points, eventually we will be able to predict. If let's say, next day company A comes to us and says, can we formulate this? We enter the properties into our platform. We come out with the best case template, and we check and validate it. This process will get better and faster the more we do. And eventually, we can also license the database to the bigger companies.
So another follow-up question is, which part of your business require FDA approval?
Great. So in Singapore, we don't have a lot of pharma clients. A lot of them are neutral. So we not, in a way, it's not really regulated in terms of application base. If we are looking at compounding pharmacy, they are not as strictly regulated as compared to, let's say, a drug. But they are still regulated in the sense that you need certain requirements. You need a proper pharmacy, you need a licensed workforce, and you need a clean environment to conduct. Now, in terms of actual FDA approval, that is for our other vertical, where we're looking to have a moonshot, where we have different pipeline candidates for our drug targeting system.
Thank you, Wei Jiang, for the answer, and that marks the end of our 10 minutes. Can we give him a round of applause? And of course, for our last presenter of the first session, we have Frontier Bio. On a mission to replace animal testing and save lives, Frontier Bio specializes in creating engineered tissues using multiple 3D bioprinting technologies. With a pipeline of innovations from complex microtissues to blood vessels, let us hear all about it from founder and CEO, Eric Bennett.
Thank you. All right, I'm Eric Bennett. I'm the founder of Frontier Bio. We create engineered tissues to save lives. And replace animal testing. There we go. All right, when it comes to organ transplantation, it's a matter of life and death. Many patients wait many, many years before an organ is available for implantation. And unfortunately for many patients, that they don't get to that point. Only 10% of the demand is met every year. So our goal is to create organs in the lab to fulfill that demand. Hello? There we go. Don't know what that noise was. All right. So before we commercialize organs for implantation, what we can do is commercialize before that. For example, 95% of drugs that work in animals fail in human clinical trials. Over 100 million animals are used every year in research. So this begs the question, can we replace animal studies with bioprinted human tissue? We believe the answer is yes. So recently, the US government has created something called the FDA Modernization Act. This allows pharmaceutical companies to use alternatives to animals before going to human clinical trials. This is perfect timing for us. So just to summarize, our long-term goal is to create organs in the lab to satisfy the organ shortage need. And in the short term, what we plan to do is sell our tissues for other applications that don't require us to get FDA approval. We call this our pre-regulatory phase. We can sell our tissues and tissue engineering services to companies like pharmaceutical, pharma companies, companies that test medical devices, and for virology research. And the beauty of this is we're not required to get FDA approval in that phase of the company. For our near-term market, it's $13 billion. When we're able to print tissues that are implantable, that opens us up to a market over $100 billion. We started with blood vessels, and the customer demand drove us to other tissue areas, specifically neuro and lung microtissues. Due to the demand and our innovation and hard work, we've reached $3.3 million in sales, mostly in these three categories. There's not enough time to go through all the tissue areas, so I'll do a deep dive into one. So we've created the most advanced bioprinted lung. What we do is, with our proprietary technology, we combine bioprinting with self-assembly. What this means is after 3D printing the cells move on their own, they communicate with each other, and form these alveolar air sacs that you see in this picture here. This is what you would find in a human lung, and these are made of human cells, but we're making them in a dish. Short-term applications of this include toxicity screening, drug development, and virology research. In the long term, we envision these lung tissues, when we can create them larger, saving tens of thousands of lives every year. We do have competition in this field. There are a couple of big companies working on this. Fortunately for us, they're focusing on methods that don't use cells. So they are creating biocompatible hydrogels in the shape of a lung, so they can recreate the branching structures, but it's without cells, it's acellular. The problem with that is there's no cells, no value for the applications like drug development, etc. The demand is growing. We're set to have another 3.3 million in revenue just in the next year. We're fundraising $2 million now ahead of our Series A for these milestones. So my background is bioprinting and tissue engineering, as well as brain-machine interfacing and other cutting-edge technologies. I'm a serial entrepreneur. Victoria created the very first fully vascularized neural organoids, and she's won an international award for her past work in this field. John's the first person in the world to create vascularized lung organoids, and Sam pioneered methods for creating vascular grafts that are implantable. And he has the most highly cited review paper in the field. So I'd love to tell you more about the team and what we're doing at Frontier Bio. I welcome any questions from the audience, and looking forward to the exciting journey ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Time is up. And any questions from the judges?
So you're not only saving life, you're saving mice.
Yes.
The white mice. By the way, I was told one white mice for FDA certified is $400.
That's probably not far off. For
$400.
Well, for pigs, it's $20,000 for one pig study, for example.
Right. So for your bio tissue engineering as a replacement for such animal, how fast can you produce them?
Oh, that's a great question, and it depends on the tissue area. So for our blood vessels, that's where we would be replacing pigs for vascular device testing. The FDA requires testing in pig arteries. It's a very quick process, but it costs a lot of money, $20,000. So How fast can we make them? Well, with one of our customers, Intuitive Surgical, we're creating acellular versions of the product. We're aiming at 500 per month. We can probably hit 100 per month now. And adding cells would bring that down to maybe 20 per month. Yeah.
And what is the cost?
Currently. Sorry, long-term will increase that a lot.
What is the cost saving?
Cost saving. So we would be charging, around $10,000 for, a series of tests with the blood vessels, for example, because they're going to have to test on pigs. We're replacing the $20,000 pig. We'd be charging, half that for the vessels.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
I got a couple of questions. First question is, you're based in Oakland, right?
Hayward, California, near Oakland, San Francisco area.
But you're in California. There's a lot of folks there that invest in this kind of stuff.
Right.
What's the appeal about coming here and looking for investment dollars here? And what is you've got some really impressive folks on your management team there from a science perspective. Who's actually doing the sales and sort of doing the marketing for your company?
Sure, good question. So the first one is about Singapore. Maybe a third of our revenue is from the Singapore area, and we're looking to increase that. It looks like it will in the near-term future. So having a presence in Singapore is a possibility soon. And then in terms of sales, I'm doing that in collaboration with external consultants that have connections with different organizations. Also through our investors. They have a network, they make introductions, and then it's up to us to convert it to a sale. So I'm leading that.
What sort of time period are you looking at for the second phase of the business, like the regulated phase?
Oh, I see. The regulation takes a while, so it could be 10 years before we have a lung in clinical trials. I know it's a long time, but we're at the cutting edge, so it takes time.
It's a bit ironic that you'll need to do actual clinical trials to test something it's about.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Any other questions?
We have time for about 1 or 2 more questions from the judges. If there isn't any, Chelsea.
Just maybe a bit too early to ask you this, but is there a thinking around the exit strategy for such a business?
It's kind of early for that, but leaning more towards becoming a public company. Like Illumina or Roche, big company doing a lot of tissue engineering. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. So with that, if there are no more questions, let's give a round of applause for Eric. And that concludes the first half of the pitching session, and it definitely was an exciting one. But before we move on into the last portion of our forum, let's take a short 30 minutes break. Come back here at 4:30 p.m. sharp, or they will lock us all in a building. No, I'm just joking. All right, we have prepared refreshments for you in the space adjourning, so please enjoy yourselves, and we'll see you all back here by 4:30. Thank you.